Hello everyone. Welcome to another learning session of Foundation of Programming at CodeMode, where you learn by practice. Currently you are learning all about data, and in today's class we will learn about unit conversion. In the previous class, we learned about measurement of data, in which we learned that data measurement is typically done in bytes or kilobytes, megabytes, and petabytes, and so on. Now, before I begin, don't forget to like this video and follow our channel by subscribing. You simply need to click subscribe button, especially if you are watching on YouTube. Your likes and subscriptions motivate me to create more videos and courses like this. Let's begin. Now that we know different units of measurement of data, such as kilobytes or megabytes or gigabytes, right? It is important to learn the conversion. If you take a file and open it, on Windows machine, you will be able to select a file, right click and go to properties, and you will be able to see that, usually those type of files typically are into either kilobytes or megabytes. Usually if you are measuring in bits, you want to use small b. So suppose I want to say 5 bits, I will say 5b. But if I say 5 bytes, I will say 5 capital B. But here onwards, everything is in uppercase, as you notice. The bit is always in lowercase. The uppercase is for, byte. So typically, since we measure it in byte, we call it, kilobyte, which is 1024 bytes. Now again, this is not 1000, like in case of kilogram or gram, we say 1000. In case of the bytes, it is always a multiple of 1024, or since it is, if you remember it, we go from, it is all about the power, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, and so on. And that is why the numbers we get, it is like 256, 512, 600 and 512, and then 1024, right? All these numbers are basically coming from that, because you have a 8 slot in a bit. So it is never 1000, it's always 10 to the power 1024. It's important to remember. So 1024 byte is 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobyte is 1 megabyte, and so on. Now, should you remember this? It's relatively easy. If you remember this part, which is byte, bit, byte, and kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, and the first letter T, and first letter T here is TB, gigabyte is letter G and letter G here, the megabyte here is M and megabyte M, petabyte and petabyte, and so on. So when you look at TB, T stands for tera, B stands for byte, terabyte. If you buy a computer, usually they will tell you these two numbers. They will say what is the RAM, which is what is the memory of your computer, and you will say it is 4 GB RAM. What does it really mean is it can store 4 gigabytes of data in the memory. On the other side, you will also notice that they claim, or they advertise saying this computer has a hard disk capacity of maybe 1 terabyte. What does it mean is that it is the long-term memory, because we are referring to the hard disk, and hard disk can store 1 terabyte of data, which is these many gigabytes. And you can do upward conversion. You can say 1024 multiplied by 1024. That means it means these many megabytes. Do one more multiplication with 1024. That means it means so many kilobytes in 1 terabyte. This is relatively straightforward math when it comes to conversion. But important thing to remember that small b is for bit. In practical life, you always use capital B, which is byte for the byte, and then kilobyte or megabyte all goes in the increment of in the multiples of 1024. Letter gigabyte, G and B for byte. B for byte is how you always say GB is for gigabyte, TB for terabyte, PB for petabyte. Now that's all in this class. If you have any question, please post it in the community on my.codemode.us, and you would get an answer. Please take time to solve the quiz associated with this concept. It will not only make you practice, but also test your knowledge and understanding. I'll see you all in the next class. Keep learning.